How many more scary movies are we gonna get until we're finally done with them? I mean, not that I'm against them continuing, I just hope that they keep getting more ridiculous and fun.
I'm gonna burn it all down. Mother...
I might have just had one of the worst theater experiences in my life, and that is the fact that there were so many people just constantly on their phones. Someone even brought a fat ass fucking tablet, and then there were like 3 or 4 kids constantly running in and out of the room. These weren't just some 10, 12-year-olds, they were about teenagers that just kept fucking giggling, looking at TikTok, scrolling through their fucking bullshit. They just couldn't shut up. I don't know what it is, but what the hell are parents doing? Are any of them actually disciplining their children? What the fuck were they doing in this movie if they weren't going to watch it? What the hell were these parents doing? They didn't do anything. These kids and the people on their phones just would not stop. They were doing it throughout the entire fucking movie up until the halfway point where I finally snapped and went to go get management to fucking tell their ass to stop. Why the hell are you gonna go to the theaters just to not watch the movie? Why not just wait for it to come out on streaming within like a month? These are some of the worst people to ever run into in a theater because they were completely unaware that there are also a whole bunch of other people trying to enjoy the movie and they just couldn't give a damn. They were just all in their own world, constantly taking photos of the movie and themselves, constantly whipping out their phones at full brightness, scrolling through Facebook because someone DM'd them or liked their fucking Instagram post. There was even a guy 2 seats down from me watching women's UFC. Why spend the time and money to go all the way to this theater to watch a movie that you're not actually gonna watch? You're gonna watch on your phone. But I'll give him some leeway because he had his phone on Do Not Disturb and the brightness was at its lowest, so it was not that noticeable. In fact, he actually just kept the phone to himself so no one else could see it. Not the guy directly next to me though. He had his phone on his lap and it was facing me so I could fucking see it whenever he got a notification. You know, theaters and movie studios are always asking the question, why is nobody buying tickets to see our next big thing? And I'll give you a very simple answer. It's because of all of these annoying ass motherfuckers that think they're watching a movie at home. And I'm not kidding you when I say almost everybody in this theater was on their phone. Some asshole in the far corner fucking with this brightness all the way up scrolling through Instagram. Some fucker in the other corner fucking swiping through messages, texting someone, I don't fucking know. Another asshole next to me just couldn't shut off his fucking phone flash because every time he got a message or notification, it just kept flashing the screen. Why is nobody going to the theaters? It's because of people such as myself who love movies, who want to have a cinematic experience, have to deal with these annoying ass people that are full of themselves. At this point, I wouldn't mind a new theater company that enforces a no phone rule, or existing theaters can dedicate tickets to a no phones policy room. That would be great. I would always buy that. What would be the cherry on top is security and a manager constantly going in and out of this theater, just making sure that the experience is not interrupted. I'm not saying you can't have fun watching a movie. I'm not saying you cannot make noises. I'm not saying you can't get up and scream when there's a fucking badass scene going on, okay? What I want is for you to not whip out your fucking phone at full brightness when nothing is going on right now. Phew, just had to get that out of the way. We're gonna start talking about the movie now. If you've seen all the previous Scream movies, you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. Do I really need to explain anything? Scream 1 will always be an all-time classic. In fact, every single filmmaker I meet is constantly praising that movie, especially for its script. Every sequel after that is just a giggle fest, and that's fine, you know? No one's really going into these movies expecting some top-notch, top-tier A24 style horror flick. The slasher genre has evolved into a bunch of fun, dumb horror movie flicks that thousands of people love to experience together for the ridiculousness of it. And that's what Scream 7 is, but does it really live up to the franchise? According to Rotten Tomatoes, it is the lowest rated Scream movie out of all of them, and you know what? Rightly so, because it was not as fun as the previous films. After all the controversy of Scream 6, they definitely had to pivot a bit into this movie, but hey, you know what? I have no problem seeing Neve Campbell return as Sidney Prescott and Matthew Lillard return as Stu Macher, however the fuck you pronounce his last name, I don't remember. The biggest surprise for me from this movie was really just how fucking quick it starts happening. Everything just starts fucking moving. I was not expecting it to start so soon, but damn, it does not let up. Ghostface just fucking shows up and things start fucking going down. Beyond that, the script and characters are not as strong here compared to the previous film with Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera. I think that's how you say it. They brought a sense of energy, chemistry, and charisma that unfortunately Seven is missing. This movie is really trying to sell the strained relationship between Sydney and her daughter starring Isabel May. But unfortunately, they went with a pretty predictable and cliche route that just didn't make her character interesting. It didn't make the daughter all that much fun to watch and enjoy and see how she's trying to, you know, survive against Ghostface. I just wasn't interested. In an attempt to not copy the 2018 Halloween film where Jamie Lee Curtis's character trains her daughter to be prepared for the motherfucker, Scream 7 decides to take the opposite route where Sydney tries to keep all the trauma away from her daughter, and then of course all this shit happens and her daughter is like a total fucking annoying ass crybaby bitch that can't survive on her own. Not to say that it wouldn't have worked, it just wasn't really delivered all that well. And with every single Scream movie, there is of course a twist ending where the ghost face is revealed and we finally figure out or learn or it's revealed to the audience who this person is, who are the people behind the mask. It just wasn't that great. It wasn't cool. It wasn't that badass. It didn't give me the whoa, you know, like in the previous movies. This one was just kind of like, okay. I mean, all right, you know, it still got a little whoop out of me, but it wasn't like, whoa, that was fucking like, what the fuck? Like, I wasn't giggling. I wasn't having a blast with the twist. It was just sort of like, all right, well, I didn't really see that coming, but the character just wasn't that significant. Beyond those things, like I said, if you've enjoyed the previous movies, you're gonna have a good time with this one. It's not as exciting or fun or really not as great as the previous movies, but it's still a theater experience to be had with all these different horror fans that love these movies. Except for the assholes who won't turn off their fucking phones. This movie gets a out of Scream. All right, that's enough of me. I'll catch you guys next time.